All right, I think we're at our 6 o'clock time, so we're going to go ahead and go live here. And I want to first welcome everybody for to coming and watching our podcast. And this is your Truth in Podcast, Voice of Southern Oregon, Conservative Voice of Southern Oregon. And thank you guys for joining us. And today we have a special guest. We have Senator Brock Smith with us. I'm going to let him introduce himself. David, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Representative. State Senator David Brock Smith. Southwest Oregon, Douglas, Coos, and Curry counties, and it's a pleasure to be here, Virgil. Thanks for the opportunity. Your podcast on the Virg is fantastic, and I look forward to the next hour and talking about what we've been working on in Salem and what's coming up.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And there's a ton of stuff, and we had I think over 6,000 views over of just a couple of days when we did our podcast last. Yeah. And to my right is Trent Drake. He's our regular on the show. Go ahead, Trent.
I am Trent Drake, the executive chair for the Douglas County Central Committee Republican Party.
Cool. Thanks for joining us. So we got lots to talk about tonight. We're going to try to stuff as much stuff into roughly an hour as we can. This is only our second actual live event, so there's some things that are, we may, hopefully we don't mess up too much, but we'll do our best. I want to thank a couple of folks here. Little Mill Media is our company that puts this podcast on for us. And again, like I say every week, if you don't like my podcast, please come down and see Little Mill Media. They will be happy to do a podcast for you, and they're really good at it. So we try to support them whenever we can. Also, Diamond Lake Mini Storage is one of our sponsors, and they are awesome. If you need storage in Roseburg, that's pretty much the place to go. And Twin Peaks Off-Road, my company as well, is one of our sponsors. So we have a lot to talk about today. We just got back from Douglas County Fair.
We did.
Let's touch base on that first. Trent, how was the fair for the Republican Party?
It was a great fair. We were constantly busy. From the time we got there, we talked to tons of people over the course of the 4 days, 3-4 days, and it was good.
So what did people think? I mean, we had, I don't know, literally probably a couple hundred people come and talk to us, and everybody kind of had something to say. But what did they say at the Republican booth when they were talking to you guys?
I think a lot of it was mostly positive. I know the biggest focus, it's mostly positive nationally. The biggest focus, obviously, is what's going on in the state right now. It was nice having your booth right across from us, because they would come up with questions. I go, well, there's your guy,
Yeah, exactly.
And, but it's still, the feeling I got is it seems like there's a fighting spirit again in the general public, that work is being done for them, and I really think it's been a good thing.
I haven't felt this good about the political environment since 22 when I first was campaigning to run. It feels like people have had enough, and they're starting to turn a corner. I had a number of folks that were Democrats that came up to my booth, and they were voicing how unhappy they were with their own party and some of the stuff that's happening, and that I try to keep my booth at the fair pretty benign. So we will speak to Democrats, Republicans. We don't care. We just want to speak to the community, the people we represent. And I was fortunate enough to have Senator Brock Smith with me in the booth. And David, what you and I were together a lot. But there was times where it was just you or just me. What was your general feeling?
Well, no, there was hope, right? Mm-hmm. There was hope across the country. There is change when it comes to President Trump's policies. There is change when it comes to the Republican majority in the House and Senate. And there is frustration when it comes to Oregon. Mm-hmm. And that is what resonated with us when we were talking about, the political spectrum across the nation and, of course, in our state. We had lots of conversations about not really local politics, but what's the governor doing? Why is she doing this? We had a lot of conversation about the transportation package, mm-hmm. Which both the House and Senate Republicans came up with their own package that didn't increase taxes.
Which the governor ignored.
Which the governor and the majority party, the supermajority party, ignored.
Yeah.
But overall, when it came to the fair, there was so many people there. It was just amazing. For me, the roots of the fair is FFA and 4-H.
Oh yeah.
And so the livestock auctions and getting to go and see all of the animals and the artwork and the baking and everything was just incredible. It is,
And it was hot.
and it was hot, but that's why we were at the booth a lot.
It was at least cooler in the booth.
But it was fantastic. Douglas County Fair. You know, I have 3 fairs in the 3 counties in my
Yeah.
district. The Douglas County Fair was the last fair, and they always kick it out of the park. And congratulations to the commissioners and Sierra, the fair board, and the whole team for just an amazing job.
And speaking of Sierra, she invited us to go meet Colt Ford,
She did.
which was pretty darn cool. I've always wanted to meet Colt Ford. I
It
went
was-
to the concert that night, but I probably wouldn't have stayed at the concert if I hadn't had a chance to actually go down there and meet him behind the scenes. So that was pretty cool.
It was way cool to meet Colt Ford. Yes.
One of the things that I always like about the fair is that I have people come up to me, and this was no exception. They come up and they have a lot of misconceptions about how government works and how politics works.
Right.
And so they'll throw something out, and it's a great time to be able to educate them as to actual how the House works, you know, how the Senate works, whatever. And I got to do that quite a bit.
Me too.
That was always a good thing. I mean, as you are as well, I like to be as transparent as I can. That's why we do the podcast online. That's why we want people to understand what's going on. But, you know, changing the Oregon government is not as simple as just going in there and, you know, walking out or taking a bat to everybody. And so you can't do that. I mean, there is a supermajority. We do have good relationships with some of the other side, and I think that certainly helps. But educating folks on how it really works, I think will get them to vote, right?
Well, you know, and that's just it. We have an amazing opportunity with the groundswell that is occurring. Look at President Trump's election and what occurred there. We didn't see the boom that we saw in Oregon, that we saw across the country. A lot of folks are just, I mean, they're beaten down.
They're tired. They're beaten
Especially in our rural communities.
down.
Because of the urban legislators. But when you talk about the legislative session that we just got out of, it could have been so much worse.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And it is relationships that you build, that I build, that we build with what we call Mod Ds, right?
Right.
Because I lived through the supermajority of the Democrats in 19, and that is when they passed the corporate activities tax,
Right.
bad gun legislation, and so on and so forth. And so, I mean, they had, 12 different tax bills that they had the votes to pass without a Republican vote that failed.
Oh, this year.
Yeah.
No, there was a total of 34
Wow.
that could have happened. But also, we were staring down the barrel of almost 4,000 bills.
Correct.
And I think at the end of session, we ended up with 700 or something along those lines.
And the
But
majority of those were agency bills for the governor,
yes,
unfortunately.
she was the best legislator in the House. Her bills were heard and passed more than anybody else's, but not all of her bills were heard.
Well,
or
and
passed.
the other thing that I love because I just love talking to our constituents and our residents and our people is being able to, I mean, there is, you know, I mean, a lot of people don't know that there's 60 representatives and 30 senators and 24 of them are Republicans, 36 are Democrats in the House and 12 in the Senate. A lot of people don't know. I mean, they come to us with questions that are federal and not state.
Right.
Right? Or they're local and not state. And
Right.
so being able to decipher that information for them, get them connected to the
Yes.
different entities, persons, or agencies that they need. I mean, I dealt with 2 constituent issues today. One was a veterans issue that I'm going to connect with ODBA. One of them is a fish passage issue, tide gates, that we're going to set up a meeting with ODF and W. So it's a lot of our interim.
Right.
I
Just
mean,
been doing
I mean,
that.
how many meetings did you have today?
3.
Yeah.
It's been a busy day.
So, you know, I mean, a lot of our interim is
Yeah.
I mean, we're a part-time legislature, so to speak. You know,
Part full-time, half paid for full-time work, I think, is something like that.
yeah. So there's a lot of work that we do outside of the session so that
Yeah.
we can
Well-
we can help our people.
I want to take just a quick break. We've been live now for just under 10 minutes. You are all welcome, and hey there, Mr. Roachcliffe, nice to see you. You are all welcome to send questions and comments on. We're watching live here, so as we speak, if you have a comment or a question, obviously We prefer it not to be horrible, but we'll take what we get. So time to ask questions, and we'll try to address the questions as we go. And if David and I can't answer them, we're going to punt to Trent.
All right.
We'll let his opinion answer him. How about that? So
I got the book of answers.
I want to move on to a couple of other topics I had here that I'd like to talk about today, and we'll just go ahead and start with this transportation bill. As most everybody, I think, in the whole state by now knows, we are headed back to Salem on the 29th of this month to work on the ODOT bill, or transportation package that the governor has put back together. We have gone into some detail on that, and we can certainly give a little detail on that tonight. What I want people to understand, and this came up quite a few times at the fair, the governor called for a special session on the 29th of this month. That does not mean that the special session is going to happen in its entirety on the 29th of this month. It still has to go through the process. So the special session will start with committee hearings, just like it does for every bill.
Yep.
And it will have to go through its first read, second read, third read. And I don't think she would allow, or the majority party probably will not allow amendments, I wouldn't think, but maybe.
Well, we're going to be bringing amendments to the legislation.
Right.
But I can tell you what we're not going to be doing
Suspending rules.
is we're not going to be suspending rules to expedite the process, because I know that your Republican caucus in the House, my Senate Republicans, want the voices of Oregonians heard on this package.
Yes.
And so you have even if it's Friday's the special session day that we begin, organization, committee hearing, first read in the House committee hearing.
Yeah.
But we have 48 hours for that hearing to be left open for public comments.
I'm thinking at the very soonest we get out of the building is Tuesday.
Oh, I agree with you,
Yeah,
because second read, and I told the Senate President's
Right.
Chief of Staff, first read Friday, second read committee, second read Saturday, third read Sunday in the House, and first read in the Senate, second read Monday, third read Tuesday
So vote Tuesday night in the Senate.
in the Senate.
Yeah, and it's a tax bill, so I think it has to come back over to the House, right, for concurrence?
No, because
Okay.
because it won't be amended. It will It'll come out of committee on Monday probably,
Okay.
because they have all the control with every aspect of it, so they will be able to send it to Ways and Means,
Okay.
because it is a tax bill. So we'll probably have a late night Ways and Means meeting after the committee vote on Monday,
Yes.
and then it is second read on Saturday.
Yeah. So it's going to be a long weekend. It's going to be busy. And thanks to Senator Brock Smith, I will be there on Thursday at the State Fair showing pigs for the FFA.
It's really fun. So we're gonna.
Who knew I knew how to show pigs?
We don't know how to show pigs, but the state fair is going. I was approached by some folks, and there's getting a group of legislators together to learn how to show pigs. And we're going to have a competition amongst those legislators on how to show pigs. And so since they invited me, I had to invite Representative Osborne and Representative Scarlatos to join us.
I don't know that Alec knows yet that he's going to be showing a pig on Thursday.
It's just going to be a great surprise for him.
So cue the nasty comments about showing pigs. I'm sure they're coming.
Hey, Alec he can channel his Dancing with the Stars.
That's true. He should be able to show a pig, no problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, so one last closing thought on that. So on the special session, this is where we are as a Republican caucus in the House, and I think the Senate's pretty much in the same boat. We are going to provide quorum, and the quorum will be with leadership. Myself will be Lucetta as deputy, and our leader, which is Christine Drazen, and probably Shelley. I understand Shelley Bosshart's going to be there as well. So that's 4. They need 4 of us to provide quorum. Now that means that 36 Democrats have to come, and 36 Democrats will have to vote yes on that bill to get it passed. We are all solid no's. I'm not saying that there might not be some more Republicans that do show up. It's hard to say who's gonna show up or not. But I think that anybody that votes yes on that bill, Democrat or Republican, if you're not in a very safe Democrat seat, I think you're probably in danger of losing your seat.
Well, and even so in the Senate, every Republican senator that is able is going to be there, and we're going to voice, and that's why it's going to be so important for you to send in your comments.
Yes.
Personalize your comments and how it's going to impact you and your family to have an upwards of, I mean, we're talking a 15% gas tax increase. We're doubling the payroll tax. Now, the media wants to call it, they're doubling the transit tax, but to fund public transit is a tax on everyone's paycheck.
Yeah, 100% increase.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, and frankly, currently, roughly 58% of those dollars then go and fund TriMet and Metro, which is ridiculous. When they have never even recovered from their numbers from pre-COVID.
Yeah. There's nothing about this bill that's good for rural Oregon.
No, and
Period.
they're increasing the fees,
Right.
and license fees and title and registration fees across the board.
Right.
And they don't need to do it. And
No, we've given them an avenue to not increase it at all.
And frankly, what really upsets me, Representative, about this, we're talking about, and these are our friends and neighbors, right?
Sure.
I mean, we're talking nearly 500 ODOT jobs. They knew this was happening. They control every aspect of the legislative process. They failed to move it in the full session. The governor tried to come in and do a Hail Mary in the
failed.
final days and failed.
We beat
and
them.
then went on the media and brained Republicans, and we don't control a damn thing.
No.
And so
yeah, we took 100% of the blame in the media, and it's like the only blame that we got, or that we should have been blamed for, was killing it.
That's right.
Because I was there that night. You were too. We were all in the building, and
10 o'clock,
and 10 o'clock, and guess what? We didn't suspend the rules, and they lost out.
Well, and here, as you mentioned, I mean, we're
We're not suspending rules again.
we're not suspending rules, and we're not going to bring any Republican votes.
No.
And so, in order to raise the tax, every 36 Democrats are going to have to vote yes,
Yeah.
and 18 Democrat in the House, and 18 Democrats, and I don't even know if all of them are going to be able to be there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We just had a comment from, he goes by Ashley Roachcliffe, but I know who he is. I don't want to give up his cover, but he said, "I made a comfortable living and set up for the same in retirement. With these fees alone, I will have to go back to work just to meet my bills." He's not wrong. I mean, this
Yep.
could potentially cause a lot of people a lot of damage, and I'm very upset about it.
And I talk about it, and so do you,
Yeah.
and our rural legislators do all the time. When it comes to any transportation tax, it hurts our rural Oregonians more because we have to travel farther for the basic goods and services. Like I'm with my mother over here in Roseburg today. We're headed to Eugene for some routine medical appointments tomorrow. So it's a 3-hour trip for us to get there to do that. And a lot of our rural Oregonians are middle to low income folks. They aren't driving the best, most fuel efficient vehicles. And so they are paying more. My folks in Port Orford have to drive an hour either way to get to a Walmart or a Fred Meyer.
Well, I just think we're forgotten, and there's a comment here that kind of goes with that. She said, "This is a gal. I'm not sure exactly. Maxwell. Maybe it's a guy." He says, "I agree that Kotek is on shaky ground. I'm wondering how Republicans can propose an amendment that's fiscally responsible, bipartisan, and revenue positive." Well, we've already done that.
We have.
We actually put together an entire plan that was
Yep.
very fiscally responsible, and the governor, in no uncertain terms, told our leadership, "Sorry, but we're not interested."
Well, and it saved nearly $700 million, I think,
Yeah.
was the number.
Yeah.
But here's the other, the darn thing.
Got to cut to a break in 1 minute. Go
Okay,
ahead.
well, I'll just close with this. We're talking about ODOT jobs. That's what I started to say. But we've lost thousands and thousands of private sector jobs in this state.
Yeah.
And there isn't a damn whimper from any one of those Democrats from our urban areas, except for, and I give her credit, Senator Janine Solomon, my brother's senator from Hillsborough, remonstrated about it on the Senate floor about how we have to be kinder to business
Yeah.
because they're leaving our state and our private sector is important.
Absolutely. I remember that remonstrance.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm going to change subjects on you guys here for just a second, but before we cut to a break, I listened to a podcast the other night that talked a lot about fire mapping and how great it was to have the fire mapping. And I just can't let that one go. With having an insurance agent to my right and a senator to my left, we're going to have a discussion about that. But before we do that, we are going to cut to a quick minute and 30-second break to kind of acknowledge our sponsors. You're going to see a commercial run through here on your Facebook feed. We are still here. Don't leave us. We will be right back. And this, hopefully, if you have questions, now's the time to get them in there, and we'll start answering questions. So we will be back in 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Is your 4x4 ready for the trail? Twin Peaks Off-Road is your first stop for maintenance, repairs, and custom upgrades. From differential services to winch installs, we do it all. Fast, reliable, and built for adventure. Don't wait for breakdowns in the backcountry. Call Twin Peaks Off-Road today at 541-900-0015 or visit twinpeaksoffroad.net. Keep your 4x4 off the roads and in the adventure.
I want to thank one of our sponsors of this show, Diamond Lake Mini Storage. If you need a little extra space, I will always recommend Diamond Lake Mini Storage. They have 45 brand new units ranging from 50 to 250 square feet with a safe and secure and clean facility. But they're more than just a storage business. They proudly support our local community through 4-H, UAC, Meals on Wheels, and other great programs that make Roseburg stronger. Ask about their move-in specials and visit them on roseburgforrent.com. That's roseburgforrent.com, storage with heart right here at home. Welcome back to On the Verge, the Truth in Podcast, your voice in Southern Oregon. And I don't see us. There we are. Okay, we are back. Welcome back, everybody. And again, now's a great time to get your questions in. I see we do have some folks online here following us. This is only our second live feed we've done. And we had such good success with the first one. I think we're going to continue to do it. We had over 6,000 views in 2 days on the first one. So anyway, as we were going to commercial break, we were having a brief discussion about fire mapping, and there's a local group of, let's call it liberal folks that have a podcast, or maybe it's more like a Zoom meeting, but they were talking a lot about how great Jeff Golden's fire maps were, and that the only reason that those fire maps were undone, and I hate to pick a scab, but I'm just going to do it anyway. The only reason those fire maps were undone was because of Republicans not telling the truth and claiming that, and if you saw the recent article online, claiming that the state insurance prices went up because of the fire maps. I got a call from a reporter, and I told him, look, I said, I'm not gonna deny what I said, okay? I did tell him, I said it was against the law for insurance companies, and Trent knows this, to use a state fire map to raise rates. Yep. But I said, the fact is they have their own maps. Yep. They did. This is all dead now, thankfully. We killed it. They had their own maps. And I said, all a state fire map did was give the state the authority to go in and be the dictator on your property and double down on what the insurance companies were going to do to you.
That's right.
And so it's pretty hard to win a court battle against an insurance company when the state doubles down. So I'm going, it's amazing to me that liberals in rural Oregon, and I'll just call them liberals because Democrats, I actually like Democrats, but they would go as far to cut down their own people, and yet they want to be part of politics and they want to be part of making things great. And I'm going, what is wrong with this view? In my opinion, it's a horrible view. Trent, before I go to David, yep. I got an insurance guy here.
Oh yeah,
he is my insurance guy. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on it?
You're 100% right. The first problem with the fire map that Senator Golden put out there, or helped get through originally, is it wasn't accurate, and it was proved multiple times.
Yes.
Of its inaccuracy. And again, like you said, insurance companies use their own system. I use that system, and it's not that. The system that an insurance agent uses is a propensity system. So for example, I live in the city of Winston. The propensity for wildfire in the city of Winston is extremely low. Now, a couple miles away, my parents live out off of Looking Glass Road, which you've been to.
Yep.
Okay, so their score is higher. but not too much. I mean, they're within 5 minutes of a fire station, and
Right.
and there's actually city water within a mile. And they live on a creek, so their propensity score takes in all those things. Whereas I've got a friend who lives on Whitetail Ridge. His score is high because he's got Doug firs growing all the way around him, and he lives at the top of the ridge, and when fire burns, it goes which way up a hill?
Goes up.
Goes up the hill. So his score would be higher, which those are what they call make sense scoring. They never used the state fire map.
Right.
Matter of fact, I talked to a couple people in my profession that really said they looked at it and they were like, we're not sure what this is.
Right.
So when thank you.
And David, you were responsible for the whole Senate response. I mean, you helped out with preparing to get rid of the fire maps.
Oh, well, I'm not only that, but I mean, if you want to rewind to 21, so in 2020, actually, I had the omnibus wildfire bill for the state. It was 4 bills that I had stakeholders. We came together, and it was going to move, and it failed when we killed cap and trade, and ultimately, then Speaker Kotek killed the session when we were ready to come back to pass the legislation with a week left, I think it was, and but not cap and trade. Tina killed the session.
Yep.
And so I brought it back in 21, and Golden had created this monstrosity. And in the face of Governor Brown telling my Democrat colleagues in my Natural Resources Committee in the House not to support my bill because they needed to go down to Ways and Means, they did. Because they
knew.
They knew and appreciated it. Because it didn't have these maps. It bolstered, what it did is it assisted in some resources for DFPA, CFPA, our local fire departments, and the state fire marshal to assist our landowners in making their, in Firewise, and making their properties more fire resilient. It didn't penalize them. You already have opportunities. You were on the County Planning Commission.
Yeah.
The counties already have opportunities whenever you're siting.
Right.
Okay, well, you can't use wood shingles. You can't you have to have a 5,000 gallon holding tank on your property. We already did that. Golden refused to listen to us and the folks that we had that created my legislation, and only went with the environmental for-profit nonprofits and drilled that thing through to the point where I was working with some key Senate Republicans, because I was in the House at the time, and we actually we stopped the floor session with days left
Right.
in the Senate, and we were able to get Senator Beyer and Senator Johnson to get a hold of President Courtney at the time to say, we aren't going to support this bill unless you remove, because they were going to put the international WUI code language in the legislation, and we would have been the only state in the country that had it.
Right.
And if we would have gotten that, if that language would have been in there, it would have been
horrible.
A travesty.
Yeah. So tell everybody what the WUI is.
The WUI is the Wildland Urban Interface. And
Right.
so when it comes to what Trent was saying about insurance and so forth, what we all know, and so many of you understand, 82% of the acres burned in Oregon on the 10-year average are on federal lands. Of the 18% that are burned on private lands, 15% of those fires come off of federal lands to private. And of the 3% of fires that start on private, burn on private, 98% of those acres are kept less than 100 because they're managed resource.
Yeah.
And that is the work that we do every single day with our commissioners,
Right.
with our landowners,
Yeah.
our timber owners.
Well, in fact, to prove that point, we just had obviously we had a big fire on Mount Nebo.
Yep.
It was responded. They got it out.
Yep.
We had a fire on Burnt Mountain. Yesterday I think, or 2 days ago.
A couple days ago, this weekend.
It's essentially out.
Mopped up, yep.
It was a little over 20 acre fire.
Yep.
I know Commissioner Freeman was engaged in all of those. I mean,
Yep.
Our commissioners are incredible when it comes to dealing with county issues.
And the coordination with the sheriff and the undersheriff.
Yep.
There's a new fire that just popped up this
I saw
afternoon,
that. Yeah.
just south of Reedsport.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the Elliott.
Schofield Creek.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the Elliott.
Well, we all are.
burning into the Elliott.
You know, I might just throw something in there. You know, you're talking about the main WUI. I use that in a presentation for home mitigation.
Yeah.
I do a thing. I haven't done it for a couple of years, but I did for all the realtors. You know, and one of the things, if you own a home, mitigation's the key.
Yep.
Yeah.
Understand that wildfires get hot, and as you know from the Archie Creek, they get so hot they become self-sustaining. The air will literally catch on fire because
it creates its own weather system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I always advise people, man, if you got brush around your house, somebody said, well, what's your key rule? Well, in the WUI it says 30 feet. I don't. I say 100 feet.
Yeah. If you can do it.
If you can do 100 feet.
Well, but the way that his bill, before we were forcing these amendments, I always use my late grandmother's name. If Gladys had her roadie next to her house, the state could come in and force her to remove the tree.
Yeah.
But when it came to repealing, though, just real quick, it was a huge all hands on deck effort.
Yes.
I mean, we had to really work to. I mean, there was language that we had to get that last amendment because there was a WUI disclosure for homeowners that we had to remove out of there.
And when the Senate passed the bill to repeal the maps, it came over to our side in my committee, and we didn't pass it. And if you go back and watch the video, I pretty much told the entire committee off because what they did was put in jeopardy. I mean, thankfully we got it done.
We got it.
But
you pulled it to the floor. I don't know how many times.
I tried 5 times to pull it to the floor, and they wouldn't allow it.
And then it finally took Democrat Representative Emerson Levy
Yes, to pull it to the floor.
from Redmond to pull it to the floor to stop using it as a political football for wildfire funding when they wanted to take $1 billion a year kicker to do it.
I forgot about that.
And we killed that. I had many a choice words and conversations with the governor's office about
Well,
that.
listen, I don't want to beat this to death because it's water under the bridge. I will say it was awesome. We had about 200 people at our meeting, local meeting, that came to oppose the whole mapping thing, when that was pretty cool. It's not often I get to say something good came out of session. And I'll say that this was good.
We had some good
We
stuff.
got this done. A lot of what happened in session I'm not proud of. A lot of it was we got beat up pretty hard on. But this is one of those things that we got done, and I'm happy that it got done, and it's good for rural Oregon. Let's move on. So Oregon, let's see, recently Governor Kotek just came out with an article, or was quoted in an article saying that Oregon has a budget shortfall, $11 billion, I think it was, or maybe it was high, maybe it was $18 billion, I don't remember. 15 billion, because of the Trump cuts. I've had a lot of people ask me about that, and I, I have an opinion on it. But let's start with an unelected official. Well, unelected is in legislature. Trent, what's your thoughts?
Well, my understanding is, she's holding back, keeping the money from coming in.
Yeah.
Whether that's true or not, I mean, I need you guys to validate it or nix it. But that's the word on the street.
Well, and I think she's not complying to federal, standards.
Right.
And so, I mean, it kind of comes natural that we're going to take that cut.
Listen, you just had Mayor Wilson capitulate to the federal guidelines that are necessary when it came to DEI to save over $400 million of federal dollars coming into Portland.
Yeah.
And if Governor Tina Kotek, listen, does not want to follow, because these aren't just executive orders that are happening. This is Congress that are ratifying through legislation these guidelines for federal dollars. The majority of what if I believe, and I didn't read the governor's article because it would have just upset me, but
I didn't get through it either.
So you have to understand budgets are priorities, and the Democrats have all of the cards when it comes to budgets.
Yeah.
And so we spend roughly, the estimate that has been told to me, and it's going to upset you, but we spend roughly $700 million a year on healthcare funding for illegal, undocumented individuals in Oregon. $700 million a year.
It's upsetting, but it's true.
And so you're in a situation where when you have individuals that under the new policy and funding bill that was passed, I think you call it the Big Beautiful Bill,
Yep.
you have guidelines that have to do with being able to have Medicaid. If you are Medicaid was created to take care of those that can't take care of themselves,
Right.
or are elderly, and our young people, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're an able-bodied 25-year-old man that can work and aren't, and living in your mother's basement, you're going to need to work 20 hours a week
To get you out. To
in
qualify.
order to qualify for your Medicaid, for your health care. And so I think when the governor is saying 15 billion, they've run some rough math on those individuals. Now, it is against federal law because what we do is we put state dollars in, we put $1 in, and we maximize the reimbursement from the Fed. So sometimes it's 5 we get back on some programs, sometimes it's 7. But it's against federal law to put $1 in and then get those federal dollars back and then use them for illegal individuals that are in the state
And
illegally.
that's not an executive order. That is
the law
that is
prior.
So the fact that our governor has chosen the path that she's chosen is her making us suffer when we don't have to.
Well, but see, as the executive branch, we control the purse strings,
Yeah.
right? We control the purse strings of the legislature. I have the privilege to serve on Ways and Means. And
Yeah, legislative branch does.
And you just had, so back during session, you had Governor Newsom talk about the illegal alien healthcare. You had former Democrat vice presidential candidate Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, and their legislature roll back the hundreds of millions of dollars that they were doing and spending for illegal healthcare.
Yeah.
Oregon hasn't done that yet. And I'm here to tell you, you're gonna see more of the same from Governor Kotek and the Democrat machine in Oregon, blaming all this on Trump
Yeah. Or us.
or us. Well, as she did with the transportation, and it's not Trump. It is the fact that we, and you've heard me say this before, cannot be everything to everyone.
Right.
And we are going to need to be able, we're going to have to cut $1 billion because we are spending 700 million of it
Right.
on healthcare for non-citizens.
And they're asking for more tax to cover the ODOT.
When we again put forward savings that were unfilled positions. I mean, you have so many ODOT workers that are working from home. You have office space that you can rent out for private industry if we weren't shutting them down and moving and forcing them out of Oregon.
Right.
There are a lot of things, and it comes to the damn, what was it, Margaret Thatcher that said, the problem with socialism is it's, at some point you run out of other people's money, and that is
I
what's
think that was Reagan.
Was it? I can't.
Yeah.
Somebody will look it up and comment it for us.
Well, listen, the fact of the matter is you hit the nail on the head when you said the word socialism. That is what this state has been driven by for literally 38 years, as we have had governors that have not cared, particularly about rural Oregon, but ever since our last, it was Vicatia, I think, was our last Republican governor, all governors since have been on the side of socialism. And, we're coming up on an election year. And by golly, I hope people get out and vote. I really do.
And we need to. I mean, we need, so we got 36 counties in Oregon. I have, and you sponsored them with me, but we have multiple pieces of legislation that we try to put forward to deal with the voter rolls, to purge the voter rolls, and so forth. But out of those 36 counties, I want to say that 28 of those county clerks, all the county clerks are working for their citizens. Yeah. They're all elected by those citizens, by their citizens. But when it comes to these elections coming up, Republicans have to turn in their ballot and vote.
We have to vote.
And and I believe the pendulum is swinging back.
Yeah.
Because when you have suburban moms
Yeah.
that are mad that Oregon still wants to allow 14-year-olds to get puberty blockers and hormone therapy, when you have suburban moms that are girl moms that are mad because
Men and
Oregon
women's sports.
Democrats want to allow boys to compete in their daughter's sports that she has worked her entire young life to achieve in.
Yeah.
And then you're raising gas tax, you're raising the cost of living, you're raising taxes. You know, after next year,
Right.
Multnomah County will be the highest tax city. Portland will be the highest tax city in the country.
Perfect. That's good. I think we hit a nerve.
I know it.
I think we spun David completely up. It's like,
You talk. Well, I mean, union jobs are okay, but we don't care about private sector jobs in rural Oregon. You talk about Jeff Golden and fire maps. I mean, that just brings out PTSD.
we need a punching bag. We have to incorporate a punching bag into our podcast for David.
No.
No. So anyway, first off, Tracy, thank you. I see you're on there watching us, and thank you for the support. I absolutely love our people, and our constituents.
And thanks to Tracy for all that you do for Douglas County and the Roseburg community. And
It's a ton.
I
Yeah.
mean, it is amazing, Tracy,
Yeah.
and it was so good to see you at the fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I don't want to spin David out, so we're going to move on. Just real quick, I want to talk about the Trump, I called it a takeover, Trent corrected me, of the Trump DC police situation. It's on Fox News, it's on all the news, everybody's concerned about it. I'm gonna let Trent go with it first.
Okay.
What's your thoughts?
Well, the District of Columbia, our nation's capital, just turned in. We are number one in the world for violent crimes. And that's, anything from unaliving to carjacking to whatever. And it's gotten so bad that the mayor of DC was asked to do something about it, and they rebuffed and said, it was actually better, but they found out she had cooked, or it's a she, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
No, the
she cooked the books,
Cooked the
and
books
it's
on
not
reality.
actually 7% better. It's a lot worse. And
Yeah.
so through the act that President Trump was falling under, he called in the National Guard that works alongside with DC police, and for 30 days. There's a time limit on it too. And DC's a cool. You guys have been there.
Oh yeah.
I was, the first time I went there, my mind was, blown how cool a place that was. But
I had actually, just real quick, had the privilege to vote for President Trump 3 times. Because I was at the RNC
oh right,
to nominate him, then was able to vote in primary and then vote in the general. But we both were in DC for the inauguration.
the inauguration.
Along with your mother.
And with
but-
my mom.
Who's an amazing lady at 80 years old, was able to keep up with us as we
Well,
walked
she was
9 miles.
she was outpacing us in a lot of.
But when you have the nation's capital, which is supposed to be a bright spot in the world,
Yeah.
in front of the White House, out on the road, you have a sexual assault in broad daylight.
Yeah. I saw
Come on.
I saw a lot there that I didn't feel that comfortable
Yeah.
with either. I want to get David's opinion on this, but and then we're getting ready to wrap up here. So I want to go into some wins that we got for the county
Well,
before
first,
we.
just real quick on
Yeah.
the DC. I just
Yeah,
got
yeah.
back from the National Conference of State Legislators in Boston. I didn't see one homeless person.
Right.
I mean, and we walked around at night, and so when you're looking at Portland, and now we're talking about DC.
Yeah.
I mean, what the president is doing is federalizing local officers. It's no different than what we did finally
In Portland.
through a coordinated effort. And I was part of the coordinated effort when we were having the riots in Portland
Yep.
back in 2020.
I had a thought today, and I made the comment. For whatever reason, it hit me as I was speaking with Housing First folks. People don't feel safe in Portland, in urban areas, to be homeless. right? The homeless people don't feel safe.
No.
That's why they're coming here, I think. A lot of them want to go to rural Oregon because it's safer. There's fewer homeless people per capita, I suppose. And I don't know why I never thought of that before, but now I'm starting to think, well, maybe that's the reason why it seems like our homeless population is just continues to grow and grow and grow. I don't know.
Well, and we fought like hell in
Yeah.
24
Yeah,
to repeal Measure 110.
we did.
We got it done. The only thing that, there was some things that I would like to have got it more in there because I helped lead the effort on the Senate Republican side.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I didn't get in there is those treatment dollars that are important. I mean,
Yeah.
right now you have in Douglas County your is it drug court? Is it I mean, the graduations I've attended,
Yeah.
they are amazing.
Yeah.
What we do here in Douglas County.
Yeah.
And so I wanted the treatment dollars to go to the county so that then a little bit can be used for admin, public safety side, but the majority of it can then have the commissioners create the MOUs and contracts with the service providers. So there's measured deliverables.
Right.
Yeah.
And what did you just see and right now they go through the Oregon the OAC, the Oregon Accountability Commission, which is a joke.
It's just a joke.
And so what did you just see and reported in the news? Over $3.5 million spent in Multnomah County
on one person.
on one person.
Yeah. That's,
And yet we're talking about what's happening with taxes going up. I mean, this is the waste and abuse that we get so frustrated about in the building and fighting for your tax dollars all the time. It's just
Yeah.
maddening.
Couple things. Danielle Bethel is one of our candidates for governor, and she has joined us. And thank you for joining us, Danielle. I thought I mentioned your name on here. Tracy, thank you so much for the compliments. We're going to go over some of those wins for Douglas County here in the next few minutes.
Yep.
And Ashley Roachcliffe, I did check the Constitution.
Oh, wait,
and-
my cousin Charles is on?
Yeah, right. Oh,
Thanks
cool.
for being here, Charles.
Photopolo. Yeah, anyway, Charles.
Gabe Burke.
I did check the Constitution, and Trump does have the right to do what he's doing, and I think it's pretty awesome. I'm actually going to be meeting with some folks that want to talk more about that on Friday. I don't know that Trump would waste the time to come and take over Roseburg, but I think it would be.
I don't think he'd need to.
No, I don't think he would need to, but I do think it would be a good thing if Portland got in that mix. So I am just completely disappointed in Portland altogether. Now, that said, oh, hey, there's Charles. Okay. Let's talk about, real quick, because we got about 9 minutes left, what we brought in that was good for Douglas County. So I've
Yes.
kind of got a list,
I'm
right?
excited about this one.
I'm gonna talk. The very first thing I want to mention is we had to get that $35 million back for the veterans home, and we
did.
did that. Now we actually knew it was in the bill. We knew the bill passed the House and the Senate at the end of session, but because the governor's a little ticked off at Republicans and rural Oregonians, we were afraid to announce. But
Wait until she signed,
she did sign the bill
because she can veto.
She can line item
veto.
Yeah.
Which, as you saw, she had the $45 million for the Willamette Falls on the possible list,
Yes.
and then the union peer pressure
Yes.
got to her.
Got to her, yes. And Fred, I see your comment. First, we need to end vote by mail, and we're working on those things too. So, 35 million passed.
It passed. We got it in 24.
Yes.
It is the 35% to build the third Oregon Veterans Home here in Roseburg. Commissioner Freeman got the initial $10 million when he was in the legislature, because that's what the third of it would have cost
Tell them
back
how
then.
long ago that was.
That was 15
15
years
ago.
Well, 16.
That's how long this thing's been dragging,
14.
and you can blame some of that on our federal representatives.
Well,
for
and
not
so
doing it.
now, so
Yeah.
the language in the bill, we were able to get the money until this budget, and now we have this money, and the language is until December of 2026.
Yes.
And so I am aware that we're going to have a fall federal budget bill and a spring federal budget bill. And so we need everyone. We're going to start coordinating an effort with our local Vietnam veterans and our veterans advocates and our legislators, Congresswoman Hoyle and our Republican Congressperson Congressman Bentz,
Got about 6 minutes.
so that we can get those dollars in there in the feds in the next budget bill and fund this home for veterans.
Amen. Amen to that. And we will always fight for veterans.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, the next thing, Rock Creek Fish Hatchery. We got 1.4 million.
Yeah.
And that, along with the tribe, I believe, is going to help fund, I believe it actually is a 2-year biennial thing.
It is.
So the Rock Creek Fish Hatchery will continue to run. There's a lot of ancillary things going on. There was a ton of insurance money that never got used. I think it was
17 million.
17 million. And so we're continuing to monitor that, but the good news is the Rock Creek Fish Hatchery is alive.
And it is funded, and they can't use that 17 million on any other
Right.
That's
piece
right.
of property unless it's legislatively approved. A big shout out to the Cow Creek Band of Tribe of Indians
Yes.
for
Yes.
and Anna in their office for their help and support,
Yes.
as well as ODF&W, because it was not in their initial budget from the governor,
Right.
and we're able to get it done.
Yeah, no, the Cow Creek Tribe has done amazing things for our community.
And the DTO, Douglas Timber Operators, as well as the Loomis and the folks at the
I didn't
Umpqua Fishermen.
Didn't even think about that, but yes,
Yep.
amazing. Also, Sutherland Fire Training Center.
Congratulations,
We
you
got
did.
a
Yep.
$500,000 on that.
Yep.
Uh,
And last session, we got, for North Douglas Fire, we got 800
Yep.
for the training. It's
I
critical.
I forgot about that
Yep.
one. That, I think it's important that we fund our first responders, because if you're not safe, nothing else in your life matters, right?
That's right.
If you're not safe in your home, in your community, whether that be fire, whether that be police, whatever, if we're not taking care of our first responders, then we are in trouble. So this just goes a long ways to $500,000 going toward that training facility.
Well, not only that, but we have about between $3 and $4 million invested in a wildfire training center south of or just north of Gold Beach on the
Yeah.
old on Euchre Creek,
Right?
so we can get a wildland firefighters trained across this state, because we are seriously down firefighters.
And not that I want to bring my nonprofit into the mix, but I will mention this,
You
that
should.
we have, well, we my nonprofit, Champagne Creek Ranch,
Yep.
we have signed a contract with DPSST to do wildland fire training, and also we will be working with their deputies, timber deputies as well,
Yep.
from all over the state.
That's right.
Will come to our property in Looking Glass to learn how to survive in the wildfire, in the woods, basically, and learn how to drive those pieces of equipment. So I'm so excited about that. October, I think, is our first training.
No, it's
So
fantastic work.
it's
I mean, you
pretty
and
cool.
what you've done, you guys have done fantastic work out there.
Through thick and thin, we've always carried on the mission, and the mission is to be an asset to the community.
Yep.
And Champagne Creek has been nothing but. I mean, we have literally done so many good things for the community,
Yep.
and with the help of a lot of volunteers. None of us get paid. The board
Yep.
it's a nonprofit. It is right in our bylaws that none of us will ever make a dollar on it.
Yep.
But by golly, we have done a lot of good stuff. Okay. The one I'm super excited about is the Cancer Center. They came to me, several months ago and said, hey, we really need $176,000 for this, some kind of a new machine. I'm not going to pretend like I know what it does, but you're part of the board.
I am. I'm on the main board.
Yeah.
Our executive board did a fantastic job on that. I mean,
Yeah.
people like, of course, Commissioner Freeman, Guy Kennerly,
Yes.
just to name a few off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Those guys, that's a serious need in this community. One of the big reasons is it gives us literally a world-class treatment center for oncology right here in Douglas County.
That's right.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it was such a pleasure to walk into that board meeting to present the check for $176,000, and I recognized almost everybody on the board.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, including Guy. I mean, Guy and I went to school together, high school together, and
Yeah.
and Mary and all of them. And what a great bunch of people. I mean, I just felt like I was sitting in a room full of heroes. Right. I mean, there are people that have survived cancer, and there are people that are fighting cancer, and without that facility here in Douglas County, my God, I mean, it would be horrible. So I'm very, very thankful.
Not a bad place to donate money to if you're looking for a place to donate money.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So those are wins. Right, that was 4. I know we got more. Go for it.
Well, no, I just wanted, since we're talking about fish,
Yeah.
we set up a meeting with ODF&W when they
Oh.
were going to close the Umpqua.
Yes, yes.
And it was kind of a hybrid of ideas. And
Yes.
thank you for
Yes.
yours. And so 500, I think we got.
Yeah,
and because they were going to close it west of Highway 101 and to bank
Yeah.
fishing only.
Yeah, I
And
remember
Virgil
this.
really stepped in with the plan.
Yeah, I came in with a plan in that meeting, and I didn't really get out in front of it in the public, and really I didn't want to take credit for it. I just wanted it to come to pass, and their plan was to close fishing season altogether. I said, wait a minute, you can't do that to our guides.
No.
You can't do that to our hotels, our for that matter, our gas stations and our convenience stores. You're going to eliminate a lot of people. I said,
Yeah.
I said my first plan was, how about we do the same thing they do on the Columbia? Fish 3 days a week or whatever it is, and cut back. And anyway, long story short, after I think 3 meetings with them or whatever, and then I believe our commissioners also went to Pendleton or wherever they had their final meeting, but we came up with a hybrid plan, which was 500, and I'm sure they'll get there.
Yep.
But at least people can still plan their fishing trips with us.
And the good news is we're getting the hatchery back.
We're getting the hatchery back, yeah.
That's
And
right.
that will,
Yeah.
that's
And they're
the
going to
cure.
do some rearing there. They're going to do some rearing at Coal River.
Cold River, yeah.
Yeah.
But the other win when it comes to fish is I was able to get streamside incubation box hatch boxes passed for Coos County, and in partnership with the Coquille Indian tribe over there.
Yes.
And so that we can finally get the data, because
Yes.
we know they work,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we know that it's junk science when it comes to the Native Fish Society folks that say, well, there's genetic differences between wild fish
Yeah,
and hatchery fish,
don't get
because
me
there
started.
isn't. And so the plan is, once we get that data, we're doing it here in Douglas County. We're doing it in Curry County. We're working with the Umpqua Fishermen's Enhancement Derby folks
Yes.
and the tribe on the predation of the bass
Yes.
that are eating our salmonids,
Yes.
because these things are critically important for our economy.
I want to mention Ashley Roachcliff just said Commissioner Boyce flew to Burns to testify with your same plan. Yes, he did, and I'm thankful for Commissioner Boyce. Actually, I'm thankful for all of our commissioners. They, in a target-rich environment, those guys carry a lot of weight. Everybody's always shooting at them for something.
Agreed.
It's a thankless job, and they just never quit the mission, right?
Yeah.
I tell you, I've been around a while. I was a county commissioner.
You were a county commissioner, yeah.
And the Commissioner Kress, Commissioner Freeman, Commissioner Boyce, in Douglas County are some of the best commissioners in the state. They know this county. They advocate for the people and the resources and the industries, and they are fair with their advocacy, and they are top notch statewide and very well respected, not only in the capital, but with their peers in other counties across the state.
Yeah, and frankly, Commissioner Freeman's been a great asset for me, having served in my spot in the legislature. I can go to him and ask him questions, and we communicate on a regular basis, as a matter of fact. So it's a good thing.
He's still an asset to me as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he works with us all the time. I mean, I'll have a question on something, just a source of political wisdom just for his time in there.
Yeah. Okay, so we are wrapping up here. We're almost to the end of our show today, and we hit about 75% of the topics that we wanted to. And David, I'm going to ask you to come back again, please.
I'd love to. No,
okay.
thank you so much. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And maybe one of these days I'll get No BS with DBSS.
There you go.
DBS podcast going.
There you go. Well, and I want to extend the invitation alive to Representative Scarlatos as well to come back, and I'm sure he will. He's been pretty busy. We've all been really busy in the interim. Some people think, well, the session's over. Now you got time to go. We all took some vacation time, except you. You've been working.
I haven't
but
got any vacation.
it's been pretty crazy. So, last thing I really want to do one more time, I want to acknowledge our sponsors, and I want to let everybody know we do have sponsorship packages. So this program costs us money every week to put on. And if you would like to have even just your ad run on this program, we have a sponsorship program for that. If you'd like to be part of the program, if you'd like to come on and speak, that's available too. You don't have to be an elected official. You don't have to be. We've had various members of the community that have come on. So again, Twin Peaks Off-Road, my company, sponsors this. Diamond Lake Mini Storage as well. They're just absolutely great folks out there. And Little Mill Media is the company that puts this on for us. And again, like I always say, if you don't like my podcast, they're right here. All you got to do is come down and talk to them. They will produce a podcast just for you. And I don't think it'll be as good as ours, but they might,
No.
you know, whatever. So anyway, with that said, any closing thoughts, Trent?
I would just, I always close our executive committee with a phrase, and I was thinking about something. We were talking about our commissioners, and I was always taught anything worth doing is worth giving your best. It used to be doing well. I say give your best, and I would tell everybody out there, these guys, I get the honor and the privilege to hang out with them. They're always doing their best. They're trying to find those ways, and sometimes they have to create the wheel.
Yeah,
And
sometimes.
I appreciate you guys so much for that.
Thank you for that, Trent.
thank you.
It's
I
good to have the
appreciate that.
support of the party. And David?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come on the show. Thank you for letting me join you at the fair.
Absolutely.
And thank you for the team that we have in Senate District 1
Yeah.
with you and Representative Boyce, and we'll bring in Representative Scarlatos into that as well.
Yeah.
And thank you to the people of Senate District 1 and our constituents for the privilege and honor to work for you as your state senator.
Absolutely. Today we had, real quick, we had the opportunity to meet with some great kids down at the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes, we did.
Senator Brock-Smith and I both did, and they had a lot of interesting questions. But one of the things that, an answer to their question, when one of the boys asked me about how when you feel like you can't win and you failed, and it was nice to be able to sit there and mentor him and say, basically, look, some of the people that have won the most, some of the most successful people that you'll ever meet have failed the most to get to where they are.
That's right.
And never give up, never back down, never surrender. And I'll leave it with that. And thank you for everybody who's watched our podcast. Please like and share it. We're on like 13 different platforms, Amazon Music, Apple, YouTube. And the more you like our podcast and share our podcast, the stronger this becomes and the stronger your voice becomes. And trust me, they are hearing us in Salem, and they're going to hear a lot more from us in Salem. So with that,
That's right.
thank you all and have a good evening, and bless you.
Bless you.